Welcome Gemini, it's your in-depth monthly horoscope for March 2024 for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to share some standout details to begin with, but please stay with me. I will explore your prospects for this month in much greater detail thereafter. We have to be conscious of your ruler Mercury. Mercury is going to be speeding out of the sign of Pisces and into Aries. The sign of new beginnings on the 10th, which coincides with the supermoon. But also we have on the 20th the spring equinox, and that's incredibly exciting for your sign in particular this year. There's so much to tell you. Please stay with me for more. If you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and understand what's going on in your personal astrology based on your unique birth data, if you share with me your time, date and place, or date and place, I can produce for you your life roadmap report. This will give you searing insights into the patterns that are played out in your life so far and a much more intimate understanding of how to work with them and seize opportunities going forwards. In my special package of 30% off, you can also get your 12-month transit forecast. This is an analysis of the moving planets in the sky and how they're interacting with your unique blueprint. So really exciting. Please see the link below. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. And also please feel very welcome to comment and interact with me. So Gemini, as March begins, so the Sun, Mercury, Saturn and Neptune are all in your 10th house. This is where we connect with the wider world. It's how people perceive us. It's the sunlight part of our situations. Can be to do with goals, ambitions, success, but can also be to do with our responsibilities and where people want to depend upon us, you know, in any kind of leadership sense, whether it's within our families, within some kind of professional setting, or even locally. And right at the start of this month, the Sun is just edging away from a connection it had to the strict energies of Saturn on the 28th of February. So if as February came to a close, there was some kind of reshaping around your professional situation, which may have tightened up your responsibilities or seemed a bit onerous, or you decided to step up in some kind of way, it wouldn't be a surprise. But also on that day, Jupiter, the planet of fortune, but in your 12th house, which is really expressing or helping you to express its more spiritual merits, is forging a beautiful link to the Sun, one of the luckiest. So when it comes to those professional hopes, it's a good thing to really listen to your instincts. And of course, because you're an air sign, you're very logical, so stay in touch with those instincts. Now, all through this month, the North Node, retreating as it does, is within reach of Chiron, the wounded healer. Now, they meet exactly on the 5th, but in your sector of friendship and the collective. If you have been someone who, despite your reputation of being very chatty and interactive, hasn't always found it so easy to connect to like-minded people, this can be a very healing aspect indeed. Also in week 2, Uranus, like Jupiter, in your 12th house, and has been an unsettling influence at times, suggests that there could be some kind of information that comes your way and something you discover which can be beneficial to approaching a professional matter with a fresh pair of eyes. But the super new moon, as I mentioned before, embraces that energy of Uranus but does see Mercury move into your friendship sector. And that really is the start of a paradox of this month, because on the 11th, Venus replaces Mercury in Pisces. So your way of approaching professional relationships, or the strength of the ties you have, can really help by Venus. But Venus is going to be aligning with Saturn on the 21st. And that could mean that in a romantic context, you and a partner take that next step of commitment or make a decision to do with a property matter. But equally, it may mean that someone you've got on well with in the past could be a little bit cool. And because the Sun is also going to be applying to Neptune from the 14th to the 19th, if there are pressures at work and you're not necessarily getting the support you need, it could feel a little bit draining. The good news, however, is that Venus and Jupiter are the two planets of fortune in traditional astrology, and they do forge a very positive link from the 22nd to the 27th. So if you can keep the lines of communication open at work, even if you find some of the people you deal with a little tricky, it really can come back to you, and it can give you some credit in the bank. It goes beyond just knowledge and your proficiency. Whether people really warm and relate to you is important too. But then on the 20th we have the spring equinox. But what makes this one so incredibly powerful is that, one, it links beautifully with the moon in Leo, but two, and perhaps most importantly, it links perfectly with Pluto. So Pluto, in the part of your situation that's to do with discovery, new experiences, travel, publishing, higher knowledge, widening your horizons, being embracing that part of yourself that's very independent. But in this context, it's asking you also to be very searching in terms of your inner truth. And because the sun with the spring equinox moves to join with Mercury in your sector of friendship, one area that you're going to be looking for closer connections is around your network, around your alliances, and some important people can come into your situation. Now, Mars does move to go into the sign of Pisces on the 22nd. You could argue, because Mars rules the sign of Scorpio, that it works in Pisces because that's a water sign. Mars in Pisces for me is very, very good if we're using its drive and its desire around something that is subterranean in some way. So if we're using its desire to become more self-aware, or to embrace personal development, or read books on psychology, or watch videos on self-help, Mars can be very helpful. But what it can do for you personally is just heighten your determination and give you more self-belief. The full moon of the 25th, the lunar eclipse, however, also links very well to Pluto, but I think for you personally, it's kind of saying you may have to make some key decisions about your time management. Don't be surprised if more than one person seems to want to spend time with you. And it could be people who are quite new to you. These are people who are others who are interested in learning new things, and there could be a connection that's really quite important. Someone you encounter and get to know may help you in some way around your personal expression, or just to feel that you're part of some kind of fraternity. So as much as all those professional possibilities are there early in the month, or some of them could be a bit onerous, Mars coming along certainly can bolster your physical energy and your dynamism. But as the month comes to a close, it's your longer term future, your alliance, the things that really inspire you, that becomes more important than just outright success, status, and progress in a goal orientated way. So a much more spiritual dimension sweeps into your chart in the last phase of this month, and that's going to prove very interesting. Whatever it is that interests you, whether it's your relationships, your hobbies, the causes that you're invested in, or it's your social situation, it is looking very exciting towards the end of this month.